Hey guys, stay-patient here with a guide for all the collectibles in Titanfall 2. They take the form of hovering blue helmets, and there are 46 in total, all spaced out throughout the campaign. You'll be pleased to know that when you pick one up, it permanently saves to your save file, meaning it doesn't matter if you die or restart a checkpoint, you won't ever have to recollect any. And if you're using chapter select to clean up any that you missed, then you can quit out as soon as you found them. Don't pay too much attention to the on-screen notifications stating how many I've collected each time I pick one up, because some of them were found out of order, so your notifications may look different. They're all here though, in order of when you come across them, with timestamps in the description as well. So let's get started. Okay, so the first collectible is going to show up during the Pilot's Gauntlet tutorial mission. During the Gauntlet itself, it's going to be in the very final room. So I'm going to wall run around. You don't have to wall run to be able to reach it. This is just when I picked it up. I will show you how to climb up there normally. And it's just up on this pillar here that's floating in midair. If you look across to the left hand side, you'll see it's just next to the final enemy that appears during the Gauntlet. Now what you can do is just come to the final room and run up the stairs on the right hand side. And that will give you access to this pillar here that's holding the enemy. And from here you can just double jump across to the one that holds the collectible, so that's probably an easier way of grabbing it. So now moving on to the BT7274 mission, which has two collectibles. The first one is going to be on the way to the first battery, and it's going to be across this wall right out in the open, almost unmissable this one, just next to the pod there. And the second one is going to be after we've collected the second battery, we'll slide down a slope and we need to double jump up onto this wall to get enough height, and then simply double jump across after wall running to grab this one. So moving on to the Blood and Rust mission, which has 6 collectibles in it. The first one's going to be near the start where we walk through between these pillars here. We're going to head inside, and you want to be careful here because all the water is toxic. So as we come through this pipe, you'll notice on the left hand side behind the fence is one of our helmets. Now we want to make sure to climb out of our Titan onto this pipe, so you want to be facing it when you exit. Then we're going to double jump up onto this pipe, which is going to allow us to crawl through into this room. We're going to drop down and there's our helmet. Now the second one in this mission is in the room where you fight 2 Titans. We're going to jump out onto the right hand side. There will be lots of enemies to kill here. But the helmet itself can't be seen from this angle, but it's on top of this cylinder. So we're going to want to double jump up onto the wall run, and then just bounce off, climb up and grab the second one of the mission. Later on we'll be climbing these pipes here and we'll meet up with our allies. Now if you look up to the left in this room, you'll notice the helmet up high. So we're going to use the pipes on the wall here to be able to climb up and then double jump across, nice and easy, and we'll be picking up the third one of the level. Now the next one is in this area. We're going to enter from where we're looking now. We're going to fight a bunch of stalkers and eventually find our way up to this side. And as we make our way through the door here, you have to turn left. You'll notice it up there on the pipes. But you need to be careful of this water here, which is toxic, so we're going to double jump across to the wall, then use that to wall run, and just about make it up onto the pipes to grab this one here. Now we're going to find ourselves in this room where we need to hack that door panel to be able to get in through this door, and just above us, up high on that walkway, is another helmet, so we need to double jump up onto these 2 big pipes on the left. Then we're going to wall run across to the other side to these pipes, which are slightly higher. And then from here we can wall run again and use this wall to sort of launch ourselves up onto the walkway and grab yet another helmet. When you get to this room with all the sludge pouring down the centre, we're going to need to climb up around the outside. And you'll notice just above us there is a helmet just up high above the exit where we're heading for, just there. So what we're going to need to do is wall run back from this ledge to this pipe here. Now I failed once here, so I've edited the video, you may notice. There it was. But what we're going to need to do is double jump, but then we need to jump away from this wall nice and early, otherwise we'll hit into the wall that's protruding. And you want to be careful of the water there, that will damage you. But up here we can grab our next collectible. Moving on to Into the Abyss, which has 9 collectibles but is split into 3 chapters. So we're going to start off with chapter 1, which has 4. The first one's going to be right near the beginning in this big sort of cavern area. We're going to need to head to the left for the story, but first off we need to walk all the way to the right hand side, which has a little cave, and this one's easy to miss because it doesn't show up until you get to the entrance of the cave. So that's the first one for this mission. Now in this same area we'll pass a Titan that's going to give us a new loadout, and we need to drop down here. And eventually on the left hand side you'll notice through this fence here that there's a helmet resting on one of the rocks, and there's a pipe we can climb on with a gap through the fence, so we crouch down here and we can pretty much just run around jumping from rock to rock and grab this second collectible of the level. Now when we get to this area, look around just to make sure you're in the right section of the level. You'll notice up high on the left there we've got another helmet, and to be able to reach it there are multiple paths you can take, but I ended up climbing up these pipes here just on the left hand side, and you can sort of jump backwards and then jump back in to be able to reach the higher pipe, and then from here jump across and just try and reach any high level section that you can. Be careful of the sort of conveyor belt items being flung past you. But from here you want to jump across to these pipes on the rock section, crawl underneath, and then these pipes will pretty much take you all the way to this next collectible. So keep following them all the way around the edge here, and there it is. Once we reach this large room, instead of going to the right to turn on the elevator in that office, we're going to head towards this ship that's parked up, and from here we're going to be dropping down to where the water is falling, but we want to land on one of the rocks further down, so we want to drop almost all the way to the bottom, and then from here you'll notice just underneath the platform that we fell off is another helmet, so you want to jump across and grab it here. So continuing with Into the Abyss, Chapter 2 has 3 collectibles in it. You're going to come to this pipe that you need to cross, and then we're going to wall run across to the other piece of ground there. This is the way you need to come naturally for the story anyway, and you'll quite possibly see this helmet on the right hand side. Difficult to miss really. But you're going to use this wall in the centre, double jump to it and use it to launch us across to the collectible. The second one's a bit difficult to explain. You'll be on these sort of panels that are being built into homes, and when you see the walls get added, it will get pulled up against this section of the level that we're stood on now, and you'll know it's the right place because the stairs will get laid. Notice the stairs there? Now you want to jump off here. This isn't where you go to continue the story, but you will be taken here, so make sure to jump off, and we're on the top level. And from here, you may notice a little bit of a glow up there of the helmet. We're going to hop onto this box, and then we're going to wall run on this wall here and hop up to the pipes and grab the second one. Now we're just going to turn and look out again at these panels just to give you a visual representation of where we are. Now the third one is when you're escaping, jumping across these sort of homes that have been turned on their side. Now when you climb up this slanted home, straight ahead you'll notice a helmet in the far distance. So we're going to do some more wall running here. Jump across that one, and then once again along the cliff. Nice and easy to reach. And there's our third one of the level. So now this is chapter 3 of Into the Abyss that has 2 collectibles. The first one is going to be in this section with all these blue pods holding these creatures. we're going to jump up the first two and then hop across to the one poking out of the separate section here, whatever you want to call them. And then from here, we're going to keep jumping up, sort of zigzagging our way to the top. And right at the top here, you'll notice our first helmet. Now when you get to this section with these hanging walls moving from right to left, we're going to need to make our way across to that hole in the next building, and we're going to be regrouping with BT, but you'll have noticed over there, there's another very easy to spot helmet just on the rocks. So you're going to wait for one of these walls. I apologise that it takes so long to reach us, but you're going to double jump and wall run across, and before entering that area, just grab this one if I can climb the rock. There we go. Now we're moving on to the Effect and Cause mission. Now this has 3 chapters, and the first chapter says it doesn't have any collectibles, but the third and first chapter are basically the same location. So you can grab the 2 collectibles that are stated as being in the third chapter during chapter 1, and I recommend you do so because there are no enemies during chapter 1. So we're going to start off here after dropping down from the window into this big open outdoor area. This is chapter 1, and we're going to grab the 2 collectibles here, and then once we return here for chapter 3, we'll already have grabbed both of them because it's the same area. So we're going to jump off the roof here, and there is a helmet on top of this light post. Now starting from exactly the same location, we'll notice one just off the side to the right, so we're going to jump down. You can enter this area any way you like. And to be able to grab this one, we're going to use the wall on the left, this sort of glass decorative wall, and use it to hop across and grab the second one here. Now we're moving on to chapter 2 that has 6 collectibles in it. The first one is in this elevator area. Now we're going to be switching between dimensions here to be able to grab some of these collectibles, but once you've killed all the enemies that come out of those elevators, you can start climbing up the shaft here. And once we get to the top, you can switch back to the sort of past, where everything's nice and clean before it's been destroyed, and we can grab this collectible in midair just by wall running across. Now this next one is just outside this room with the model in the centre. Once we've finished in there, this door will open, and you'll notice at the far end is a collectible up high, but the floor is missing in this dimension. Now I decided to go for it without using the other dimension to reach it, so I'm just kind of wall running around. I missed it on the way there, but somehow I managed to make it all the way back and grab the collectible. Remember, it doesn't matter if you die, so if you've grabbed it and then fall to your death, that's fine. But what you can do here is use this dimension to run along, jump up on the wall, and once you're up there, you can then switch dimensions, jump across and grab the collectible, however you want to approach it really, as long as you grab it. Now we'll come to this section which has some turrets in this sort of structure in front of us that fire at us. Obviously I've taken them out, and you want to be careful of that wall of fire behind us. Now you'll notice the helmet is in a sort of pod or capsule hanging from the ceiling that we can't enter. But if we change dimensions, we can hop inside, then change it back and grab the collectible. Now when we make our way outside, you'll notice all these platforms, and to the left there we'll have one of the collectibles on one of these platforms. And certain ones appear and disappear depending on what dimension we're in. So you want to jump across and then change dimensions in midair to grab this collectible. Now when we get to this section where we need to constantly change dimensions to be able to jump from wall to wall, one of them will be almost unavoidable on our way across. And because I died there, we're going to start off from the same platform after sliding down that rope there. And we're going to run across again, but we're going to start from the other dimension. It doesn't really matter actually either way, but we're going to make our way all across to the other side, and you'll probably have already spotted the next one we're aiming for. You want to make sure that you land in the past, in the sort of early time zone, because there's fire on this one. in the present day. And we're going to need to switch dimensions in midair again, or switch time periods, to be able to grab that one along the wall. Now the beacon mission isn't split into chapters, but it does have two distinct different sections. If you follow the waypoint into the building on the right when you start the mission, you'll get taken to the part where you need to find the arc tool, and in that section there are two. The first one will show up in this room with these spinning turbines, so you want to head to the one on the right hand side, just jump across, grab it, and then jump to the other side. And the second one is after you've collected the arc tool, you're going to need to activate this sort of wind tunnel to blast you up to the top, and you're going to be trying to reach that entrance, that sort of doorway, to continue the level. But for this collectible we need to face the other direction, because right at the top on the opposite wall is the helmet, very high up, so we do need to get some height. And we need to activate this wind tunnel and keep moving forward as we're travelling through the air, then jump again at the top. Now we're moving on to the next section. We were in that building opposite, but we're now on this large building, and this is where there are going to be 9 collectibles in and around this area. The first one is just on top of the roof of this central main building here. And it's just on the corner there, behind one of the pillars, nice and easy. Now starting off from that same roof, you'll notice one on the rooftop over there in the corner of this area. Now we're going to jump across to this pillar, and then we're not going to be able to make it on top of this pillar from here, but we are going to kind of wall run and jump and just sort of shimmy our way up. It's a bit tricky and a little bit fiddly. There might be an easier way of getting here, which you may have found yourself, but that's how I got up here. So once you are on top, you can grab the second one. Now after BT throws you across to all these sort of sections that are floating out to sea, I guess, you're going to land on this particular platform, make your way inside to the top level and use your arc tool to open this door here, and inside will be another helmet. Now after you move your first crane and jump across, you're going to make your way inside this building all the way to the top. Now we're going to jump across, and you probably noticed it there just on the roof of this particular building. They all look very similar, but you should be able to find it. Make your way up to the roof of this one to grab, I believe this is the third one in this particular section of the level. Now once we've moved the second of the cranes, you'll notice the helmet just above us there. So we're going to use this big board thing that we've moved with the crane, climb up the top there and grab this one. Then after we've jumped across from the fourth crane, we're going to head inside this building here. There'll be a bunch of enemies, but once you've cleared them out, you can jump up on the left hand side above this door, and there will be one on this platform up here. When you get to this area with the circular section with all the robots working away and the big satellite dish, you'll notice a helmet on top of this building, and this is the building that we're heading toward for the actual objective anyway. So we're going to make our way upstairs, but rather than going straight into the room with the control panel, we're going to climb out the window. So as we reach the top of the stairs here, just hop out the window. In the corner on this little roof is the helmet. Now when we return back to BT, he's going to throw us up to the top of this huge tall platform tower, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to make our way up the stairs to carry on with the actual story. And this particular helmet is pretty much unmissable. It's right there in front of us on our way up the stairs. For the next one, we're going to keep climbing and then jump into the center where this big, I guess, satellite dish is. And on the right hand side there, you'll notice one on this particular strut. So you want to carefully make your way out there to grab this one here. Now we're going to move on to the Trial by Fire mission, which has 3 collectibles. The first one is going to be in the first building that we enter. We need to leave BT, jump up onto this platform here, and just in the center of this small area is another helmet. Now when we reach this section with all the pillars and the turrets on the right hand side, we're going to keep running through and eventually we're going to make our way onto an elevator with Sergeant Briggs or Commander Briggs. But before we do that, the elevator's just in front of us there, so don't get on it just yet. You'll notice a wire on the ground, and that wire goes into a hole in the wall. So we're going to jump out of BT and slide through under that hole. Keep going, there's another hole at the end, and once we climb up into the room here, you will notice at the end of a corridor is another helmet. So grab that one. The final one in this mission is in this section, which you should recognise when you get here. If you keep moving in a little bit, you'll notice on the right hand side you've got 2 of these sort of dome-shaped structures, I suppose. Behind the one on the left, up high on one of these pipes, is another easy to grab collectible. So we're now moving on to the penultimate mission with another 3. This is the Ark. Once you get thrown across by BT and then jump across to this ship here, you'll fight a ton of enemies, and then all the way down on the right hand side, if you climb out onto this sort of protruding platform, you can then jump across onto this little bit here. You'll probably make an easier job of it than I did and grab that one. Now this is a tough one. When you get to this point where Sergeant Briggs flies in, she will close her door so that you can wall run on it, but before she does that you need to very quickly wall run and double jump into her ship to grab this collectible. And the final one in this mission is in this large area with those blue rings up to the left. There's all these staircases going up high, lots of platforms, and our team is waiting for us at the top there. But if you stay on the ground level and run all the way to the end, there's another collectible just by one of these ships that's docked here. You'll see it there just on the left, so turn left at the very final ship on this ground level, and we've got ourselves another collectible. Now let's move on to the very last mission of the game, the fold weapon, which has another 3. You'll get to this location which has loads of enemies in it and 2 turrets at the far end, and the collectible is up high on the left. Now I took quite a tricky route to get up there, but I will show you an easier route once I have grabbed it. I just wanted to show you the footage of me actually collecting it, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see exactly where it was. So you're having to try and dodge these turrets, and then I decided to try and climb up these pipes here, which proved a bit tricky because you can't really run up them, and if you try and jump it kind of acts as a wall run, and it gets quite fiddly. But I made it up onto this roof. Then from here I sort of double jumped and then kind of turned, and you can pretty much mash the X button to kind of jump from pipe to pipe or sort of shimmy up the wall itself. And the collectible's on top here. But I'm going to show you an easier way of grabbing this one. If we start off just underneath where these turrets are again, but we're going to make our way into the building on the bottom floor here. We're going to make our way out to the back. This is the way that we would normally go to continue the mission. But we can jump onto this rock here, then up to this roof, and then using a wall run and a jump we can make our way back up to the roof that we were on just a moment ago. And I believe I forget exactly how I made my way up here this time, but you should be able to shimmy your way up using the pipes and the actual wall itself. The next one is in this B4 hangar. There's a huge gun outside, and there's a big sign above the door with the letters, or the letter and number, B4. When we make our way inside, you'll notice the helmet at the far end just high up there on one of the pipes. So we need to make our way to the back left corner. we're going to jump onto this box if it will let me. And then we can jump across to a pipe that's quite dark on the screen, but you should be able to see it when you're playing the game. You can land on this pipe and then hop up to a little kind of outcropping here. If you run across this, you'll be able to make your way onto the pipe that the helmet is located on. Now on to the final collectible of the game. It's in this room with these blue rings once again. And you'll see it high up there on the right hand side. We're going to make our way up the stairs, and you can pretty much use anything you like to be able to get up here. Just wall run, double jump, use all the skills that you've been using throughout the game. And we can hop up onto this smaller pipe. And then up onto the larger one. And there you have it, guys. That's the final collectible of the game. So you should see the final trophy pop. Once I actually managed to pick it up, it proved a bit tricky for some reason. But there you have it, guys. Every nook and cranny. I believe the second trophy that popped that I forgot to mention ended up popping on the wrong actual collectible because I collected it out of order with the other ones. But by this point, you should have all of them. I hope that's helped you out, guys. It's quite a fun game, Titanfall 2, to any of you who are wondering whether to pick up a copy. Most of the trophies are campaign related. There's very little related to the actual multiplayer itself. So if you like single player content, then definitely grab yourself a copy. It's a lot of fun. Hope that's been useful, guys. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if it has been. Thanks very much for watching as usual, and I'll catch you next time.